This summer 2025, I decided to visit Lake Garda, and honestly, I did not expect it to become one of my favorite places in all of Italy. It just started as a simple road trip idea but turned into a memory I'll carry forever. Imagine warm sunlight flickering through the trees, mountains standing tall in the distance, and roads that looks like they were built for daydreamers. As I drove closer, I didn't realize I was heading towards one of the most beautiful places I would ever see. By the end of this video, you will understand why Lake Garda completely stole my heart. Honestly, the drive itself was pure magic. Italy in summer has this golden glow. You know, the way the sun touches the hills makes everything look cinematic. I passed through quiet villages, fields of greens, and curvy roads that open into more like a postcard perfect views. Sometimes I just turn the music off and listen to the sound of tires on the road and the soft breezes sneaking through my window. Every few minutes, I will whisper to myself that I can't really believe that this is real. The closer I got, the scenery began to change. The flat countryside slowly gave way to rolling hills, and the road started to twist and climb. Tiny villages appeared along the way, clusters of terracotta roofs, church bells echoing in the warm air, and vineyards stretching endlessly on both sides. I had the windows down, the warm Italian wind brushing my face, and that perfect road trip playlist playing softly in the background. Every turn seemed to whisper, "You're almost there." The sunlight flickered through tunnels, painting bold patterns across the dashboard, and I could smell the mix of pine trees and a summer air. It was one of those rare drives where you don't want to rush, where the journey itself feels like the part of the destination. When I was on my way, there was this feeling building inside me. A mix of peace and excitement, the kind you only get when you know you're about to see something unforgettable. I passed a few peaceful villages, stone houses, vineyards, and balconies full of flowers. Somewhere along the way, I noticed, the hotel signs like Alberno Garni Francesco. It wasn't fancy or loud, just one of those cozy roadside places that makes you smile for no reason. Little moments like this remind you are really in Italy, where even the simplest things feel charming. Then, when the GPS said Lake Garda in 15 kilometers, I could already feel the excitement building. And then the first glimpse, a flash of blue between the hills, and that was it. I knew I was close. And then suddenly there it was, Lake Garda. The water simmered like glass, stretching endlessly beneath the summer sky. I pulled over at a small viewpoint, stepped out, and the warm air hit me. A mix of pine trees, fresh water, and sunscreen. It's hard to explain that feeling when a place looks even more beautiful than you imagined. As I stood there by the lake, a flock of birds suddenly took off, soaring effortlessly above the water. Their wings caught the sunlight, gliding across the sky with the massive mountains behind them. For a few seconds, everything felt still, just the sound of wind, the simmer of the lake, and nature putting on its white show. It was one of those moments that reminds you how small we are, yet how lucky we are to witness beauty like this. And then, of course, I had to capture it. I took out my camera, set up a few shots, and filmed myself with this breathtaking backdrop. The blue lake behind me, the mountains towering high, and those birds still circling above. It felt like being inside a living postcard. So after capturing a few shots by the water, I noticed a small stairway nearby, the kind that almost hides between the rocks and trees. Curious, I started to climb. Each step felt like a quiet adventure, the sound of the lake fading below and the breeze growing stronger as I got higher. When I finally reached the top, the view completely opened up and it took my breath away. From there, you can see everything, the endless stretch of blue water, the boats gliding like tiny dots, and the majestic mountains standing tall on every side of it. It's the kind of view that makes you stop talking just so you can feel it. In that moment, I realized why people fall in love with Lake Garda. It's not just beautiful, it's overwhelming in the best way possible. After standing there for a while, just taking in the view, I slowly started to head back down the stairs. Each step felt different now, like I was seeing everything from a new perspective. From above, Lake Garda looked grand and endless, but down here it felt personal. You can hear the sound of the waves brushing against the stones, see the sunlight simmering on the surface, and feel the warm air carrying the scent of summer. The lake truly felt alive, boats gliding by, kids were laughing, music drifting softly from a cafe somewhere nearby. This was summer in its purest form, warm, vibrant, and full of life. What makes Garda so special is its bond with the water. People don't just admire it, they live in it. When I got there, the whole lake was alive, as you can see. Windsurfers carved across the waves, their colorful sails catching the aura wind that sweeps the lake every afternoon. Each surfer seemed to glide effortlessly, dancing with the breeze, free, fearless, and perfectly in sync with the nature. Big boats cruised gently by, families relaxed along the docks, and kids splashed and laughed near the shore. Sound of the waves mixed with the faint music from a cafe nearby, and it all felt like summer captured in motion. That warm afternoon wind gave the entire place its rhythm. After spending a few hours by the lakeside, just watching the water, the people, and the rhythm of the day, I finally decided to head back. On the way, I stopped by a small local gelato shop near the road. I went with my favorite, a scoop of pistachio, creamy, rich, and just the right kind of cold for a summer afternoon by the lake. Sitting outside with the gelato in hand, watching people pass by, it felt like the perfect little ending to a perfect day by Lake Garda. After spending a few beautiful hours at Lake Garda, I finally started my drive back to the Airbnb, about an hour away. The roads were calm and bright, lined with green hills, and that soft shimmer of the lake was still visible beside me for a while. I kept the window slightly open, the warm summer air rushing in, carrying the scent of pine trees and fresh water. It was one of those perfect, quiet drives where you don't say much, but you feel everything. The kind of ride that lets you replay the day in your head. The sound of waves, the laughter by the dogs, the colorful sails on the water, and that refreshing gelato before heading back. Even as I left the lake behind, I could still feel its calmness with me, that peaceful rhythm of Garda that stays long after you have gone. And that was my tour of Lake Garda, one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited in Italy. I would love to know what do you think about Lake Garda. Let me know in the comment section how you liked it and if Lake Garda is now going to be on your travel list. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And it really helps me bring more travel stories like this to you. Thank you so much for watching.